Hey everyone, welcome to Remap. My name is Jared, and today I just want to talk about Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk 2077 was released just about a month ago, a little over a month, by CD Projekt Red, great studio, home of a ton of great games, Witcher series, and well, let's just say this was not as well received as some of their previous titles. I'm sure you're all aware they had a very rocky release with last gen consoles were just not up to snuff. So today I just want to take a look back at my experience with the game, give you my review, my thoughts, and then just talk about the game. I had a pretty thorough playthrough of approximately 70 hours, and I just want to talk about the things I liked, the things I didn't, and really just what stood out to me. So the first part of this is just going to be the review of the game. I will be spoiler free, and I'll be sure to let you know before I talk about any substantial spoilers at all. But just to get the big question out of the way, I am playing on the Series X version of the game. And so first thing I can say, if you have a last gen console, PS4, Xbox One, you don't need to listen to any of this. Just don't buy the game. I mean, it's that simple. The game is not playable. Even though they've had a couple fixes, they've got more updates rolling out. The game is honestly just, it's not playable. And I don't think it's ever going to get to that, the quality that you should have when playing a game, a solid frame rate, textures that actually load. And it's just really unfortunate with the launch that they had. But yeah, so as I mentioned, Series X version, about 70 hours. So this is just my opinions, my thoughts of the game. And I just want to thank you for listening. So the truth is, the game shouldn't have come out. We all know about the glitches, about the bugs. And I just want to talk about a couple that I experienced because there really were way too many. I can stomach a few glitches, I can stomach a few bugs, but when it's just immersion breaking stuff, it's really unfortunate to see. So, the T-pose memes, those are real. I had moments, where I'm having a great conversation with the character, and I'll see an NPC walk by, and I'm like, what are they doing? It's just unfortunate. The most annoying thing for me in terms of bugs was definitely I ended up dying more to bugs than the actual enemies. And by dying, I mean, having to load a save, by getting killed or something doesn't work. I have to reload a save. I count that as dying in this case. So, about a handful of times, I would literally just step on a random polygon, like a staircase, and just instantly die. Enemies that are required to kill would just clip through objects, so they'd be stuck in the ground. I'd have to load a save. The projectile launcher, one of the cybernetic enhancements you can get, is really cool, but when you're aiming it, you don't really know where it's going, and you can really easily just like clip a leaf next to you, and it just one-shots yourself, which is quite annoying. Probably the most game-breaking thing I experienced was I had a quest that just the quest trigger just wouldn't trigger. I spent about 5 minutes literally just loading an old save, walking up to a character, just trying to trigger this quest, which, that just shouldn't exist. I can mind a couple texture bugs, I can mind a couple problems, but when the game literally doesn't work, I mean, that's just not acceptable, But besides the glitches, besides the bugs, I did have a few issues with the pacing of the story. Sometimes you'd be talking with a character in a side quest or a main quest, etc., and just it wouldn't mesh well. You're having a great relationship with a character in a side mission, then you go to the main mission, and just the relationship's not the same, and that shouldn't be the case in an RPG. It really needs to blend together. But that was more a minor thing. In terms of the actual game elements, the AI, the crowd generation's a little whack. The enemies just, they don't feel quote unquote next gen. Feels like I'm playing, a mid 2010s Call of Duty. I mean, enemies are just going to stand around. They'll use some cover, but they're really not that hard. And the stealth, oh my gosh, the stealth options in this game, not the best. You can honestly just spam reboot optics on literally every single enemy, and pretty much just waltz through everything, which that's not really stealth. And I mean, with once you get like a competent weapon, you can just one shot everyone. On normal difficulty, I haven't played on hard, but on normal difficulty, it's really not too bad. If you're just starting out, literally, I spent the first 15 minutes of this game messing with the default controls because, oh my gosh, on console, the default controls on Xbox are legitimately painful. Like, I have not used default controls that are this bad. The right stick, the controller sensitivity, it's insane. You have to play the game to understand what I'm saying. I can't even describe how strange it is. And I mean, there's just little things about the game that annoyed me. You know, going into it, everyone was hyping up, oh, you can customize anything about your character. Oh, you can customize their dick. Oh, it's so cool. You literally, the only time you'll see that is in one encounter if you forget to put your clothes back on. It literally doesn't affect the game at all, and I don't understand why it was such a big, talking point to hype it up. Just things like that. We had such high expectations for this game, and it really was rough. Seeing the launch and just getting into it for the first little bit. The combat, it's fine. It's no Borderlands, with tight gunplay and everything, but it's fine. It grew on me over time, so I can say I enjoyed it. And then the crafting mechanics are a core part of the game. Once you start crafting stuff and you get to a high level, you just waltz through encounters. I mean, you can just basically one shot everything. It's genuinely not even fair. And then on just a minor note, especially for those that are starting out, driving, these cars do not have traction control. If you don't slam on those brakes taking a turn, you are going to go flying off course. It is just insane. And then, so I'm saying all this, I'm just absolutely flaming the game, which, to be fair, this game did not live up to expectations. It is not what we were expecting with a game that's been hyped up for literally years. But you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute. You have just spent the last 5 minutes saying how bad this game is. Why the hell did you play 70 hours worth? Well, it's very simple. Let's just say the story and the characters, oh my gosh, they knocked it out of the park. It is absolutely excellent. When I'm playing an RPG, I want to be, engaged in the story. I'm not playing an RPG for, oh, they're crafting, or oh, they're gunplay, or oh my gosh, I'm talking to this character and they look so cool. It can be a bunch of blocks for all I care. I just want to be engaged in the story, engaged in the world, and to care about the characters. So, I want to know what's next. If I'm playing an RPG and I'm sitting here asking myself, wow, I need to go to this next mission. I want to see what happens to this character. That to me shows a quality RPG. I'm getting engaged in the game, and this game got me engaged. Credit to the team at CD Projekt Red, because I was willing to tough out all these glitches, all these bugs, and all these problems because I really connected with the story and I really loved it. The voice acting is absolutely phenomenal, and when you get into those heavily scripted scenes, when you're not in the open world, you're in sort of a smaller environment, just character moments. It looks and feels like it's a really engaging game, and I was really impressed by Night City. Obviously on Series X, it doesn't look nearly as good as a high-end PC running like a 3070, 3080. I don't got that kind of money, but the game did look good. And Night City, just I felt, there's these corporations, they're controlling everything. It was a very engaging world, and I'm not going to talk about any character details or anything like that, because that's something that you need to, play through. You need to see these characters. And literally, the nice thing about it, and fortunately there's been a lot of generous refund policies, the introduction to the game is not too long. It's a few hours long. And if you are engaged by that first few hours, definitely keep playing the game. You'll enjoy the whole thing. But if you're not connecting with any of the characters in those first few hours in the prologue, just return it. That's fine. No big deal. You gave it a shot. That's definitely what I would say to people that are thinking about getting the game. The prologue gives you a nice taste of it, and that really is a good option if you're interested. So, when trying to come up with a score for this game, it really was a challenge because I really did enjoy my playthrough of it. Obviously, not all 70 hours were sunshine and daisies. There are, quite a few hours there where I felt like I was just slogging through some quests that I was like, okay, let's get through this. Let's get to the good stuff. But I would say definitely the majority, definitely, 50, 55 hours of that 70 were, great, engaging moments. And that's really all that I want. I feel like I got my money's worth out of the game. Obviously, it's going to be a lot better on next-gen consoles and even on PC by the end of 2021 with more updates and patches. But it's really challenging giving a grade to this game because I can't excuse how awful the launch was on last gen. I'm a console player. I enjoy consoles. I had an Xbox One. I was able to get a PS4, late in its lifespan, year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's just terrible seeing the millions of players that were excited, that pre-ordered this game, and just it's unplayable. I mean, if you're running 15 FPS, like that's not a game. That's just painful. So I can't excuse that. There's just so many problems. Even with my playthrough, I mentioned all the bugs and glitches I had. But at the same time, I had a ton of fun, and the story just really, really engaged me. So when I'm looking at giving a grade, I settled on a B-, specifically because I can cop out and, give it a 79.5, which rounds up to an 80, to give it a B-, because, I can't excuse the problems. I can't excuse the issues. But I really did have a lot of fun with the game, and I got to give them credit for that. And especially on next gen and PC, I'm sure by the end of 2021, this game could even be up to an A- once they fix all these bugs and all these problems. Now, some stuff can't be fixed. The AI I don't think is ever going to get to a high quality state, but a lot of progress can be made on the game to get it even better to what I think the game designers wanted it to be. All right, now that I've got all that out of the way, I'm going to be talking about some spoilers now. So if you have not played this game and have any interest at all, which I think you should have interest. I mean, even if you want to wait 6 months to a year to have the opportunity to get maybe a next-gen console and play this game, definitely click out now. Thanks for listening. I highly recommend it if you enjoy RPGs. It really was an engaging, fun story for me with some great characters. So, with that being said, I'm going to be talking now about some of my favorite missions, some of my favorite, items, just encounters, just stuff I enjoyed about this game. Everything up to the final mission. I'll be talking about that at the end, and I'll let you know before that. So, the first thing that really annoyed me was that the decisions in the beginning of the game, when you're picking between, Corpo, Street Kid, and Nomad, they really don't matter. I mean, you have a cool little intro with them. Then you have, a big cutscene to get everyone on the same page, and then that's basically it. Like, there's no, big story elements that are changed. You get some cool, conversation pieces, depending on which option you picked. But there's really, there's nothing there to justify, how big of a decision it's supposed to be. And I really do think that Nomad is the worst one by far. Corpo, okay, gives you some cool stuff. Street Kid, I mean, you're part of Night City. Nomad, it's what are you even doing? It's not that much. But Man, the prologue really hits you with Jackie dying. Like, I was, excited for Jackie to be a part of the game. He's a, V's friend, and just, man, just killing him like that, just, oh, that just hurt. And so when I was playing through it, the first things that I did, I just went through all the quest to find Evelyn first. Getting to know Judy was great. I was having a great time. Um, getting to know that character. But man, you finally get Evelyn. You're feeling great. You're like, okay, she's going to be a part of the team. She's going to be a helper. You get the call from Judy. Hey, come on over. Something's up. And I'm like, okay, Evelyn's awake. Something's good. Oh my gosh, that thing, it hits you like a freight train when you find that Evelyn killed herself. It just hurt. Like it actually hurt to see that. Man, that was just tough. But the golly, the after that, where did I go? I worked with Takemura on a lot of his items, and I really did like his character. The whole issue of, oh, he's an Arasaka guy and you don't really want to work with him. Like, I really enjoyed Takemura, and it was funny when you're with Hanako, you get attacked, and it's, oh, leave him, he's dead. I didn't realize you actually could go save him until like 20 minutes later, and then I literally just loaded an old save because I was like, yo, I need my boy back. I'm gonna go save him. But yeah, some other characters that I really enjoyed, River, I thought was a great character. When you find that farm and see what is happening, that is just brutal. Like, oh, that was tough to see. And I mean, it's another testament to the team. Like, I want to feel these emotional moments. Like, I want to be upset, with River when he finds out about all this stuff, because that's why I'm playing the game. I'm not playing the game for, oh, I'm enjoying the gunplay. No, I want to feel, what the characters are going through. Beyond that, and don't worry, I'm going to get to the best character later. But when it comes to guns, I mean, honestly, once you craft and upgrade all your stuff, it's the game honestly it's just broken. You can just waltz through everything. The legendary smart rifle that the 6th Street gang has, what is it? Divided We Stand. You can just walk into an encounter, and with the legendary cybernetics, the smart link, you just hold the trigger down, don't do anything, and you just win. I mean, it's just broken. But the pistol that River gives you following your questline Crash, that ended up being one of my favorite weapons. I mean, that the headshot multiplier on that is just stupid, and you can just, that I put a silencer on that, and that turned into my stealth pistol. I did not do a stealth playthrough of this game at all, but even when I did, it was just perfect. And then obviously Overwatch, best sniper rifle by far. And then one thing that annoyed me, there's all these melee weapons, all these choices of, you have a wrench, a spiked bat, a knife, a katana. But honestly, if you just put on the target analysis cyberware mod for your Kiroshi optics, why would you ever use any non-lethal weapons when I can just use all my overpowered guns and just, I mean, it just works. All your weapons are non-lethal. You don't have to worry about killing anyone. But that was just one little thing that annoyed me. In terms of the cyberware, I was a little let down. I didn't feel like I was using, all the options to make a cool custom character. It was just more so small, enhancements to whatever build you're trying to do. But getting a new cyber deck was definitely really important, because I did end up using, quick hacks a lot during my playthrough. If I just wanted to get some quick damage in on a boss or a big target, and having a good cyber deck was definitely necessary for that. My character definitely was a mostly technical build. I mean, I'm looking at my character right now, and it's just, I'm just so annoyed with the cool skill tree. I put like 5 points into that in the beginning, and I never looked back. I mean, stealth does have the, where is it? They've got the absolutely OP headshot damage multiplier at frozen precision. Here it is. Increases headshot damage by 50% in the cold blood tree. That is an insanely good perk. However, I will never get it, and I never got to it because cool honestly just felt like a useless skill tree. I mean, dumping everything into technical ability is just so necessary because you get the crafting of all the best guns in the game, plus you can literally open doors with a high technical ability. I mean, encounters just become so much easier because I don't have to go through a giant room of people. I can just open the little side door with my 15 technical ability and it's just done. But yeah, the skill tree, it's fine. Put a bunch of reflexes into, put a bunch of points rather into reflexes and body, just basic boosts to your character. And then intelligence was my second highest, behind technical ability, just so I could have more quick hacking abilities. But besides the characters, just looking at the map of the game, I really did feel that part of the map, specifically Pacifica, was really underutilized because I thought the Voodoo Boys were sick. I mean, the animals, that was a cool little thing when you're trying to get into the mall. And I just felt like Pacifica was really underutilized because Mr. Hands, low-key, was the coolest guy. And you only talked to him a handful of times. And you got Regina calling you every 2 seconds about stuff. That was one thing that kept annoying me. But when I was driving around, Pacific Dreams and Royal Blue Radio, in my opinion, best 2 stations by far. What is it called? Isometric Air on Pacific Dreams. Absolute banger. And it's funny because I just ended up using Jackie's Arch literally the whole game. I felt like that bike was a lot easier to control than a lot of the cars, especially the the Batman or Mothman supercar out in the desert. I mean, that thing, oh, good luck trying to turn that thing. But well, speaking of the desert, I've been waiting to talk about my favorite character, and I think it's time now because, oh my gosh, it's not even close. When I was going through these missions with Judy, trying to find Evelyn, like I was like, okay, I'm connecting with Judy. She's a cool character. Hey, this is great. This might be my favorite character. Yada yada yada. And then it all changed. It was over. Like once Pan Am rolls up, Pan Am, best girl, not even close. I will argue with anyone about this. When you're doing the setting up the EMP to fry the transport to get Hellman, and I'm sitting there. This was when I knew. I was like, okay, she's by far coolest character. Like, this is my jam. I'm sitting there. The EMP goes off. The little flying taxi doesn't come down. I'm like, oh no, we failed. This is terrible. And she's like, oh no, I got this. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? We're all the way out here. I turn over. She pulls out a rocket launcher, blows the thing out of the sky, and I am just like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like, this ain't even fair. And it was funny because as you went through these quests, it was obvious. It's like, oh, you're not getting anything like rewards wise. You just want to go see this character. And it was funny with how self-aware the game was, with when you go look into the journal and you look at a quest, there's that little text on the right side. Really felt like it was, just Johnny's comments of stuff like that. And I'll get to Johnny in a second. But it was funny because some of the later Pan Am quests, it was literally like, hey, you're not getting, rewards out of this, but that's okay. We know you're going there to see her. And I'm glad the team at CD Projekt knew what I was talking about, because that's literally what it was. I mean, I could have been, I don't care what I was doing. If I got the call and it's, hey, V, I'm having problems with Saul for the millionth time, I am dropping everything that I am doing and I am sprinting out there, okay? That is my priority, and man, by far the best character, in my opinion. These characters that I'm talking about, Pan Am, Judy River, like this is why I enjoyed the game. Even Takamura, like these were just great characters that I enjoyed seeing them fleshed out, seeing their stories. And it's like, Vic, great guy, great talking with him. Like I prioritized paying him back, which just doesn't make any sense because it's like there's other Ripper Docs in the city. You can go spend your money there. It's completely fine. But no, I was like, no, this is a stand-up guy. He helped me out and I got to pay him back. And it's just stuff like that is great. And even like Misty, I just enjoy I just finished this quest. I'm going to go over and do a tarot reading just cause like it's just stuff like that I really enjoyed about this game. Just getting to know the characters, and just, connecting with them, talking with them. But Johnny was definitely one of the more interesting characters because early on, he was kind of annoying, and I was like, okay, how long is it going to take for this guy to get old? Especially in the beginning, when you have the huge, after the prologue, you have a huge angry moment with him in your apartment, and then the next quest you get is, oh, go get your car, and so I go get my car and we're talking like we're best friends. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I go talk to, I think it was Takamura or someone. And Johnny's like, oh, I hate you again. And it was little things like that in the beginning of the game that I was like, okay, you need to get these quests to talk to each other a little bit better at least. But fortunately, in the order that I played the missions, after that, it was pretty smooth sailing. And I really enjoyed Johnny over time. Like he grew on me over time, and by near the end, when you're ending up in the oil fields, having a heart to heart with him, like that was some really, really great moments with the character, and I really enjoyed Keanu's performance. Obviously, it's not perfect, but by the end, I really liked the character. He grew on me, and so that's just some quality character development here. Oh, before I forget, just something that's a little annoying. I know I mentioned earlier Regina calling you all the time. I am still salty about these cyber psychos. Oh my gosh. I spent hours and hours finding every single one, taking them all down non-lethally, doing all the right things, and it's just for a little money. Like, I was at least hoping to get a cool weapon, a cool cybernetic, but no. Congratulations, you did it. Here's a little money. Have a nice day. That really, really annoyed me. And so, just some other quests and characters. I have them all written down here. I'm just running off all these characters and all these quests I really enjoyed. So I just want to hit a few real quick. The Sinnerman quest, really cool. The guy hires you for a hit and you literally end up crucifying a dude. It's crazy stuff like that you only get in these strong M-rated RPGs. It's just really interesting stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say I enjoyed it because it was tough to watch, but it was an experience. The quests with Brendan, the how do you pronounce it? The Schism. That robot, that little AI had more heart than a lot of people in the world. That dude was a G. The Peralezes, that was another really interesting quest because, when you go to talk to the dude about, hey, there's people tracking you, which, might I add, that was some freaky stuff that you find out. You get the call that, hey, there's nothing you can do, you can't change anything, but you never really get that resolved. I mean, I don't know if that's something that they're going to dive in with the DLCs or what, but it's like, you never get that resolved. You never figure out, oh, who's tracking him. You never find out, like, oh, it could have been Arasaka. Or, no, they just don't tell you. And that was just one, little thing that was never resolved that I'm hoping to get some answers to at some point. Also, I know I mentioned it earlier. The main missions in Pacifica, an absolute blast. We're working with the Voodoo Boys and Placide. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Like Mopton Palen. Don't hate on me for my pronunciation. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know any Creole, but really, really cool missions. A lot of fun. But one of the most satisfying moments when you get the choice to just sock him in the face after he betrayed you. I mean, I really wish there was more stuff with Placide and the Voodoo Boys because I really did enjoy those quests. And then a couple other side things. Azov's nose. What the hell was that? This dude gets in your car. He has a grenade in his face. If you haven't found that side mission, go find it. It's just weird. And then another interesting one was the Zen Master Missions. I mean, the first time I found him, it's funny. You get to meditate on earth, water, wind, air. Or no, what did I miss? Earth, water, wind. Oof. Earth, water, fire, air. Wind and air are basically the same thing. But really, really relaxing missions. With how this game is, obviously it's a first person shooter. But I ended up, when I found this dude, I'd be like, oh, perfect. And I wouldn't just sit and, play on my phone. I just, sit, relax, listen to him talk. And it was really just a nice breath of fresh air, as some would say. Just to take a breather from all the chaos of the game. Really, really cool missions. And then finally, a couple other missions. Obviously chipping in when you're doing the concert with Carrie and the Samurai Band. That's just late, Act 2, Act 3, you get to that late game stuff. You have these really cool moments. Like, that was a lot of fun, just having this nice moment, getting the band back together, ton of fun. And then the Beast in Me with Claire and the races. Like, I enjoyed driving that truck more than I like driving the sports cars, honestly. Those, I let her kill him at the end of it. I could tell that she wasn't, in the completely clear frame of mind. It was obvious that it was part of the race, but I was like, you know what? This is my girl. We're in this together. You got to do what you got to do. But, yeah, I think that is all I have in terms of everything leading up to the finale. I now want to talk about the endings. It should be obvious that I'm not spoiling anything. There are multiple endings to this game. But I want to leave that up to you guys. I'm going to pause for a few seconds. If you have not finished this game, you got to go finish it before listening to this. Like, I want you to enjoy the endings. If you just don't care, thanks for sticking with me. And okay, perfect. That's the couple seconds you get. I now want to talk about the endings because it's quite obvious, in my opinion, there is one canon ending, which is definitely the star. That was my ending. That was the ending that I got. That I felt like wrapped up the story in the best way because, honestly, I'm just a sucker for happy endings. If I'm playing an RPG and I'm enjoying it, I'm connecting with the characters, I want them to live. I don't want a sad ending. I'm playing as V. I'm having a great time with Pan. We're doing all these missions. We're helping the Aldecaldos. And I'm like, I want a happy ending. I want to ride off into the sunset with her. Like, I don't want sad stuff in this, which was the challenging thing. When you get to the decision to pick your ending, if you want, Arasaka, Johnny, or the Nomads, the Aldecaldos, I was worried about picking, calling the Nomads, because this was the kind of game that I was like, they could totally kill Pan Am. Now, fortunately for me, there's a great article, article on Fortune by Paul Tassi, and is just called, a warning to pick the best ending. And I stumbled across this when I was just reading like spoiler-free stuff, because fortunately it literally just said, hey, When you get to it, you get to pick Johnny, Arasaka, or Nomad. I really think Nomad's the best one. And there wasn't any spoilers there. It was literally just which one they picked and what they liked. And just hearing that made me go, okay, there's no way they're going to kill Panam. Because if they killed her, everyone would hate the ending, okay? Because people pick that choice for Panam. No one else. If I'm being honest, that's what it is. And so, once I start, obviously I pick it. I'm calling the Nomads. She drives me out to the desert. And then once I roll up and I'm talking to everyone, I'm like, okay, here's the problem. The problem was very simple. When you're talking to all the Aldecados, you're hearing about all the drama between, Panam and Saul, and you're talking with Mitch, and I'm like, okay, it is a guarantee. Like, I'm talking a Charles Barkley, just guarantee that one of these main people are gonna die. Like, someone is going to die, which made me sad because I didn't want to bring the Aldecados into this problem, into this war with Arasaka. But, talking with the characters, it was clear that they needed, this big turning point for them. They're either going to go out with a bang or they're going to succeed and just have a great future. But I was just glad that you got to use the tank some more, because once I saw that they're like, okay, we're literally just rolling up with the tank and drilling in there, I was like, okay, I think I made the right call here, because that's probably the coolest thing. But I obviously, if you've played this, or if you haven't and you're still listening, spoiler alert, Saul gets absolutely wrecked, which it's what I was expecting. It shocked me the way he dies. He literally gets his head stomped in by Smasher. But I'm gonna be lying if I said I was like, oh, this is terrible. No. Panam's fine. That's what matters. And even Mitch, my boy Mitch, made it out alive. That's what I like to see. But yeah, I know I said it earlier that I'm a sucker for a happy ending, and this was the Star was by far the closest you get to a happy ending. The ending hits different. I mean, the tank, it's just late at night. It's you got to cross the border. It's going across the water. The music comes on. Your character sits on top of it. Camera pans out. Panam came. Sat beside me. It's just that just happy moment right there. That moment, like, okay, we did it. There's a possibility for a future. I know he only has 6 months supposedly, but I think he can figure something out. We got through this. We can get through that because we have each other. And man, it was touching. It really was a touching ending. And another reason why the Star definitely should be the canon ending, or at least considered the best ending in my opinion, was the calls you get in the credits were actually happy. Like, Judy calls you, she's happy to chat. It's a great moment. And then Misty calls you and she's like, hey, guess what? I drew the Chariot, the Lovers, and the Sun. You're doing great. This is awesome. And it's like everyone that called you, is either happy for you, happy to see you. It's just all this positivity that I really like seeing after, a lot of negative missions where it really looks like V ain't gonna make it. Like, you get a little worried for him at some point. But I gotta say, F in the chat for the boy Takemura, one of my favorite guys. But obviously this is the kind of game where not everyone's gonna get a happy ending. And with the Sun, he gets screwed over, and I'm like, well, it is what it is. I gotta pick my girl over him. But my final point for the Star specifically was that, when you tell Johnny, hey, I want to keep my body, like, he's content with it. He's fine with it. Like, you grew with him. You had this obviously a strong bonding moment, literally being two people in the same body. But like, he's content with it. He's fine with it. He's not upset with you. He's not upset. He's like, yep, I got it. Go live your life. Have whatever life you have left. I'll be fine. and it really felt like a full circle ending. It's what they both wanted and they both understood. It was a mutual agreement of what had to happen. But besides the good endings, there's obviously a few more, and I don't really have any comments on the quote unquote secret ending, because there's really not too much different there. And then obviously you don't want to pick the worst ending, the suicide ending. That's just, oh my gosh, the credits call you get from Judy. If you don't just feel awful listening to that, you have no heart. Like that, it's just brutal to listen to. But the devil, by far, I thought was pretty trash. I mean, after all you go through with Johnny, you're gonna trust Arasaka? Like, no, you can't do that. You can't sell yourself to Arasaka. And then, Temperance, if you didn't connect to a character, as much as I obviously did with Pan Am, you could have connected with Judy or River or Carrie. If you really just didn't connect to any of those characters or Johnny, I can understand why you pick the Temperance option. It was a tough ride for V, and it's not an easy way out. It's a choice of, hey, you've got no more suffering and pain. You can continue to just move on with whatever life you'll have behind the black wall. And so I can understand that ending. And then another ending, which isn't bad at all, the son, Rogue dying obviously is tough, but you're going out in a blaze of glory. You're going out with Johnny. If Johnny was by far your favorite character, this is probably what you would have picked, and it's a cool ending. It's a nice piece, but yeah. Just to sum it up, Pan Am, best girl, characters, awesome, bugs, a ton of them, but I enjoyed my time. I am probably going to replay this game again not for a while, obviously, because it was a lot of time. Probably a year, maybe 2 years from now. Obviously, the next gen update will be out for Series X, and I'll be able to just enjoy it again. Enjoy the characters, enjoy the moments without having to worry about all the glitches and problems. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you again for listening to Remap. My name is Jared, and I will see everybody later.